all you need to know, the Bloomberg Quint podcast that prepares you for the day's business. Good morning. You're listening to the Daily Morning Update from Bloomberg Quint with me, Alex Matthew. Today is the 16th of May. Now, as you might imagine, trade negotiations between the US and China continue to dominate discourse the world over. President Trump signed an executive order to declare a national emergency relating to threats against information and communications technology and services. The move was expected and is likely aimed at restricting Chinese firms Huawei and ZTE from selling their equipment in the US. Shortly afterward, the Department of Commerce said that it had put Huawei on a blacklist that could forbid it from doing business with American companies. The pair of actions risk aggravating Beijing as the president seeks to pressure China's leaders into agreeing a wide-ranging trade deal. Meanwhile, China's holdings of treasuries fell in March for the first time in 4 months, dropping by $10.4 billion from February to $1.12 trillion. The country remained the top holder of US sovereign debt, however, ahead of Japan. The data preceded the recent deepening of the trade war, which has prompted renewed speculation that Beijing could sell American assets to put pressure on Washington. Now, Donald Trump may de-escalate trade friction with the EU and Japan by delaying on auto tariffs by up to 6 months. That's according to a Bloomberg report. But he may change his mind as his aides, including Wilbur Ross and Peter Navarro, are in favor of the new import duties. US equities climbed with the news of the possible cooling off of trade tensions. The S&P 500 posted its biggest two-day gain in more than 6 weeks. It ended higher by 0.6%, while the Nasdaq and the Dow ended 1.1% and 0.4% higher. 3 early risers in Asia, however, have started the day in the red. We'll have to wait to see how the Chinese markets open. Now, India's trade deficit widened to a 5-month high in April due to lower growth in exports amid weakening global trade. The gap stood at $15.33 billion in April compared with $10.89 billion in March 2019. In corporate news, the Tata Group will bring its consumer businesses under one unit as the salt-to-software conglomerate continues restructuring to streamline its operations. Tata Chemicals will demerge its food business to Tata Global Beverages. The deal will entail the issuance of shares by Tata Global to Tata Chemical shareholders in lieu of the consumer business. Shareholders will get 114 shares of Tata Global for every 100 shares held in Tata Chemicals. Independent directors of various infrastructure leasing and financial services companies are under the scanner of the Corporate Affairs Ministry for alleged lapses in carrying out their duties as financial problems continued to brew at the diversified group. That's according to a PTI report. Officials of Darwin Platform Group of companies and SBI Capital Markets held discussions yesterday on the group's unsolicited bid for the crisis-hit Jet Airways. Darwin Platform has offered 14,000 crore rupees to acquire Jet, according to its chief executive officer, Rahul Ganfule. Now, the Election Commission yesterday ordered campaigning in 9 West Bengal constituencies to end at 10 p.m. today, a day before the scheduled deadline for campaigning in the state. That's in the wake of violence between Bharatiya Janata Party and All India Trinamool Congress workers in Kolkata. Well, with that, it's over to Darshan Mehta for the trade setup for the day in India. Morning, Darshan. How are we looking today?
Hi Alex, good morning everyone. Global cues are stable at this point of time and the SGX Nifty is also indicating a muted outlook. Among the numbers today, Bajaj Finance, Bajaj Finserv and Hindalco are the Nifty earnings for today. And in terms of other numbers, JSW Energy, Arvind Fashion, Bank of India, Minda Industries, Dhampur Sugar Mills and Praj Industries will report numbers. Among the numbers that came out after market hours, strong numbers were reported from Manappuram Finance, Phoenix Mills, Jammu and Kashmir Bank and Magma Fincorp. Stable set of earnings from Torrent Power, Gulf Oil Lubricants, SKF India, while weak numbers were reported from Petronet LNG, Majesco, Mahindra Holidays. In terms of corporate developments, Tata Global Beverages and Tata Chemicals announced the transaction to combine the consumer businesses. Each shareholder of Tata Chemical will get 1.14 new shares of Tata Global Beverages for every one held. Lupin says that the US FDA has completed inspection of the Aurangabad facility from May 6 to 15 with 3 observations. Navbharat Ventures in focus, they say that the Zambian arm has realized over 70% of the amounts billed since synchronization of the power plant with the grid, and the debt of the arm has reduced by 25%. Goa Carbon, the April production is up 18%. Zuari Agrochemical says on evaluation of the market conditions and inventory, one of the 2 granulation plants of the company will be shut down till further intimation. And finally, in terms of brokerages in Motherson Sumi, CLSA has cut the target price to 135 from 150. They say that the weak European auto demand is hurting the company, and the subdued commentary from the global players is something that could impact them. But there's much more you need to know before trade actually starts. For that, log on to our website bloombergquint.com and click on the All You Need to Know tab, and you will be prepared for morning trade.
Thanks, Darshan. Well, that's all we have for you on this podcast, but as always, there's a lot more on the website in the world of business, in politics, and of course, on markets. This is Alex Matthews signing off. Have a lovely day.
I hope you enjoyed listening to All You Need to Know. Did you know that you could listen to the show on the IVM Podcast app? On the IVM Podcast app, along with this, we have a number of other shows which you think you'll enjoy. Listen to Cyrus Says with Cyrus Brocha as the host. Listen to Paisa Vaisa with Anupam Gupta. The Scene and the Unseen with Amit Verma, or Shunya One hosted by Shiladitya Mukhopadhyay and myself. Check out the IVM Podcast app to get more talk content that you will enjoy.